weddings always crack me up because, like, even as a string quartet or something, you come in there and they say it's 35 something minutes before the thing, but it's usually like 25, and then and then they're telling you, okay, we want another 20 after when they leave, and it's usually like 7. People are out the door, and then you get paid, and then you leave. It's just like it's like ripping them off or something, But it's usually a pretty it's stressful because there's a lot riding on it. I mean, everybody is going to remember if you make a massive mistake. I mean, for the rest of their lives, they're going to remember because this was like a special day, and it's sort of stressful, but it's not, it's not stressful at all. So those can be, and then you can get like a bridezilla, and that's just buckets of fun. But
yeah, that's and I've had to fire some clients.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to sometimes stand your ground and not be a jerk about it, but like I remember this one wedding I did, and this lady was insistent that she come and see me, and so we had this band that performed at a country club, as this is down in Florida. We had a band and she says, I want to come hear you, and I said, well, this is a Valentine's Day dance, and I said, I'll see if I can get you special permission to poke your head in the door. Well, the country club went out of their way, and they allowed her to come in. She didn't dine. She just sort of sat off the side room and listened to the band. And then after she was just so hyper picky. I mean, just real particular.
Yeah.
And so then after she heard the band for an hour, she emails me the next day and she goes, can you still provide me some references? And I'm like, I wrote her back and I said, I'll let my band's performance speak for itself. You'll need to find another band.
Yeah.
And I let her go.
Yeah.
And I gave her some names of some bands that I thought she might like, but I wasn't going to deal with her anymore. It's like, it didn't have to be nasty or mean, but it was like, if you're not sold by after you heard my band, then I'm not going to waste any more time on this client. Go away.
Right.
Go away. And
just wondering if she. I'm really fascinated with psychology. If she wanted to kind of manipulate the situation more, and so I mean, you already said that she was trying to be picky and stuff. I mean, is she just making you go through hoops, or like? I mean, it's hard to say, I guess.
I think it had more to do with if psychologically. I think in that particular market, it's how everything appeared to everybody else. And so it's like, would people talk about this wedding, amongst themselves? That's sort of the mentality that I got. It's like, how does it look? Like, I'm not part of that game. If you don't think I'm playing all of these, these country clubs where, we're doing Valentine's dances, New Year's Eve dances, Christmas stuff,
Right.
and if it's not good enough, I'm not gonna, But that's you have to. I've always treated it like a business. I had contracts that I use, and also one of the other things in terms of promoting yourself is being engaged in the business community, not just the music community. I belong to chambers of commerces. I go to chambers of commerce meetings. I let them know that I am in the music business.
Yeah.
If you need music services, this is who you come to. This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is what I do. It pays off.
That's a really good idea. That's a really great idea.
And I am always the only musician in those chambers of commerce. It's like, they're not willing to invest in that because they see it as an expense. And it really is an investment. It's not only an investment, monetarily that you're going to make back probably in the year, but it's an investment. You've now put yourself in partnership with, people who are business people who have resources, who are the movers and shakers in your communities that do put the events on and do, have open houses and do have grand
Right.
openings and things like that. And, it's a natural thing to think, well, I could be a part of that, and I'm the only one in all of the chambers that I belong to. I'm the only musician.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
That's interesting because I would have never thought to do that. I mean, that's a great piece of advice because the thing that popped in my head was like even they were talking about living in this big subdivision, and the one of the people they know in the subdivision is like the son or something of somebody who owns a business, and so that's like their now neighborhood hangout because he knows everybody in the subdivision. Or when you have like a small town, we have our neighborhood musician or something, and then everybody knows them, but they're the only ones. Like you were just saying, you're the only one in this little group that. And so now you've got this huge connection into all these people that none of the other musicians are talking to because you're the only one they know, and you're right. We do have a problem with that of like kind of accidentally staying in our little music community and accidentally never getting out to a whole lot of other people
Yeah.
and yeah.
And I can certainly. I know you told me before we started taping about you had conversations about club owners and things like that. I certainly have had, but I think if you treat yourself as a CEO of your music business, then you go in there with a different mindset. If you're not just looking for scraps out the back door, you are a professional. You present yourself professionally. This is what I do. This is who I am. And you have to be willing to say, this isn't the right place for me. That, it's not get a gig at all cost. It's is this the right situation for me? And if it's not, then just say, hey, best of luck to you. No problem. I'm probably not the guy that's going to go in and rock a biker bar.
Oh yeah.
It's not. I don't have tattoos. I don't even ride a Harley, or I don't, it's not who I am. It's not what I look like.
Right.
So it's not my people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. I totally relate to that. When I tried to run my little rock band a couple years ago, I felt that desperateness that you're talking about of coming in and trying to, if they gave me anything, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, and that, especially money wise, I mean, they'd come in and we can only give you 4 cents for this gig, and so do you want it? And then I'd be like, oh, a gig, yeah, okay, and I there's a bunch of times where I probably should have been okay with walking away from it, but because it was a gig, I wanted and I needed to have more courage to walk away from that and not just take anything. And I wish at the time I would have had more of that mentality and been okay with walking away, because
I think if you don't demand respect from yourself, you can't expect anybody else to. And so I think part of that is saying, I am worth this much. It's hard to put a dollar and cents on art, no matter what it is. But you have to say, what do I, and it goes back to goal setting, what is it that I want to make?